So today we will discuss preoperative assessment. Under preoperative assessment, reviewing preoperative laboratory and diagnostic study is there. You got?
Yes, ma'am.
Then review the client health history, assess physical needs, assess psychological needs. So under review preoperative laboratory and diagnostic studies, complete blood count is there, blood count and cross match, then serum electrolytes, urine analysis, chest x-ray, then CT scan, then MRI, that is magnetic resonance imaging, then echocardiogram, it is simply known as echo, then BT-CT means bleeding time and clotting time. Usually the bleeding time is 2 to 5 minutes and the clotting time is 7 to 15 minutes.
मैचिंग मैम वो सेकंड पॉइंट है ना, ब्लड काउंट एंड क्रॉस मैच। इसमें हम लोग क्या हम लोग देखेंगे इसमें?
सो
ब्लड काउंट
हाँ, ब्लड काउंट के अंडर में हम लोग रेड ब्लड सेल, देन वाइट ब्लड सेल्स, देन आफ्टर हेमोग्लोबिन लेवल, ये सब देखेंगे. हाँ, then after that blood group if transfusion needed.
ओके मैम। मैम आपने वो एमआरआई का फुल फॉर्म क्या बताया था? एमआरआई?
हाँ, वो मैग्नेटिक रिजोनेंस इमेजिंग.
ओके मैम।
ओके.
हेलो मैम।
हाँ, then under review the client's health history, there are history of present medical illness and reason for surgery. Then after that, past medical history, we have to know the patient's past medical history. If the patient has any significant medical illness like diabetes mellitus, tuberculosis, hypertension, then you have to know the allergy, if the patient is allergic to any substance, drug or medication. Then present medication, the what medications the patient is taking at present, we have to know that one. Then substance abuse, if the patient is taking any like substance like drinking alcohol, then smoking, we have to see that one. Then review of system, under review of system means we have to see the whole his review of system, like whole head to toe assessment we have to do. So under that one there is mainly gastrointestinal system, then circulatory system, respiratory system, neurological system. So we have to see everything. So after that one, assess physical needs, we have to assess the patient's physical needs, that is vital signs, level of consciousness, then weight and height of the patient, then ability to move. Then under vital signs we have to check the patient's temperature, pressure and blood pressure. Then level of consciousness, the patient's level of consciousness we have to check using Glasgow Coma scale. Then weight is checked because some medications are given by the body, by measuring the weight as per the body weight. Then height, then ability to move, if the patient can move by its own self or not. If not, then we have to give means assistance to the patient. Then after that, assess psychological needs, we have to assess the patient's emotional state, and as per that we have to give psychological support to the patient as well as the family members. Then level of understanding the surgical procedure and instructions, then we have to see the level of understanding of the patient and the level of understanding the instructions, and we have to make them understand in their language, if it's possible in their language. If not, then we have to try to make them understand. And there are coping strategies like how they can cope with that environment. We have to see that one. Then support system, maybe it can be their family members. Then coming to the nursing diagnosis. So nursing diagnosis is very much important. First one is anxiety related to results of surgical procedure and post-operative pain. So if a patient is going means for surgery, if he's going to undergo any surgery, then he or she means may be anxious about his disease condition, surgical procedures and post-operative pain. So we have to make them comfortable, make them the patient comfortable, and we have to explain the procedure nicely to the patient. Then after that, second one is knowledge deficit related to surgical procedure. So the patient may have deficient knowledge about the surgical procedures. So we have to give proper knowledge to the patient. So coming to the intraoperative care. The intraoperative phase extends from the time when the client is admitted to the operating room to the time of administering anesthesia. So intraoperative phase extends from the time when the client is admitted to the operating room, means the OT, to the time of administering the anesthesia. The performance of the surgical procedure until the patient is transmitted to the recovery. The intraoperative phase begins when the patient is transmitted to the OT, operating room, until the patient is transmitted to the recovery room. So there are certain goals. So the first one is safe administration of anesthesia. Then right patient, right procedure and correct site. The site where the surgeon is going to perform the surgery, we have to know that site and we have to clean that site before doing the surgery. Then after that, promote the principle of asepsis. Asepsis means prevent from microorganisms or control from any infection. Then coming to the stages of anesthesia. The first stage 1, begins with the induction of anesthesia and ends with the patient's loss of consciousness. Then after that, stage 2 or REM stage. REM means rapid eye movement stage, from loss of patient consciousness to loss of lid reflex. Lid reflex means corneal reflex. It is also known as blink reflex. After that, stage 3 or surgical anesthesia. It starts from the loss of lid reflex to loss of Morse reflex. Morse reflex refers to the other reflexes like Moro reflex, then blinking reflex, then after that palm reflex, Grubsing reflex, then after that so intraoperative complications. Under intraoperative complications, there is hypoventilation, then oral trauma, hypotension, cardiac dysarrhythmias means irregular heartbeat, then hypothermia, low level of body temperature. So the third and the last one is post-operative. So introduction. The aim of post-operative care is to provide the patient with a quick, painless and safe recovery from surgery as possible. The main aim is to provide patient with a quick, painless and safe recovery from surgery as possible. Then there are mainly 3 phases. First one is immediate phase, second one is intermediate phase, third one is convulsion phase. So now I'll discuss the immediate phase. So immediate phase begins from the discharge from recovery should be from complete stabilization of cardiopulmonary and neurological functions, which usually 2 to 4 hours. Then care provided. The care which are provided immediately after the surgery, that is in immediate phase. So first one is monitor of vital signs in every 15 minutes in first half an hour. So monitor of vital signs should be like in every 15 minutes for first half an hour, then in every 30 minutes in the next hour. Then after that, after 15 minutes, after half an hour, then we have to start like after 30 minutes for the next 1 hour. Then after that, maintenance of fluid and electrolyte balance. We have to maintain the fluid and electrolyte balance because the patient is before the surgery, patient is NPO. So as per the doctors, physicians means like the surgeon's advice. So we have to maintain the proper fluid and electrolyte balance to maintain the body fluid. Then after that, changing of dressing every 2 hourly. Then changing of dressing every 2 hourly is very much essential to prevent any cross infection and to promote fast healing. Then management of pain. Management of pain is very much essential because in this immediate phase, the effect of anesthesia is used to go slowly. So pain occurs in this phase, and for managing the pain, analgesic is required. For example, Contramol, Ibuprofen. So the next phase is intermediate phase. This phase begins during the hospital stay till discharge. So this phase begins from the hospital stay till the discharge. During the hospital stay till discharge. So the care provided is monitor of vital signs every 2 hourly. So we have to monitor the vital signs like temperature, pulse, respiration, then blood pressure every 2 hourly. Deviation of any of these may indicate any infection. The administration of medication. Then we have to administer the medication to the patient. Antibiotics is administered to prevent from any infection. Then after that, analgesic to prevent or to relieve from pain. Then after that, antipyretics if there is any fever. Then IV fluids to maintain body electrolyte balance. Then changing of dressing. Changing of dressing is important to prevent from cross infection. Then diet is very much essential. After surgery, the patient is kept NPO as per the surgeon's advice. So after like 12 hours or 24 hours, as per the surgeon's advice, the patient is given semi-solid diet, liquid, then after that semi-liquid diet. Then mobilization of patient is necessary to prevent from pressure sores. Then coming to the last phase, convalescent phase. This phase begins after the discharge to full recovery. So general post-operative complications. The first one is pain, then fever. If there is fever, then it may indicate of any infection. Then pressure sores because of improper immobilization. If the patient is not mobilized properly, then in the pressure area, patient may develop pressure sore or pressure ulcer, bed sore. It is mainly happens with the bedridden, the patient who is bedridden for a long time, like old aged patient. So hypothermia, that is low body temperature. Then after that, nausea and vomiting.